Alright everybody, so I'm really excited about this one. I'm gonna go over my workflow as a monitor engineer and kind of what I'm doing on my desk. And this is very similar to any other desk. I'm using Rivage PM5 in this case. A couple weeks I'll be using a PM10. I use Wing a lot, Allen Heath. I've used a lot of different consoles and my workflow pretty much stays the same, maybe with a few exceptions depending on the show or the event. I kind of want to just dig into what my layers are, my layout. Just to kind of start, I'm going to start with my first bank, and you'll see that this desk has four banks rather, 3 banks of 12 faders, and then the last bank has 2 faders. So this is my left bank. I have 12 faders on it. The first bank is my home layer. On this layer, you're going to see that I have kick DCA, snare DCA, tom DCA, overhead DCA. And this allows me to group all my inputs together. So I have both my kicks, I have both my snares, or maybe I have 2 snares, so I have 4 mics going to that snare DCA. All my toms, so 3 or 4 toms typically. And then my overheads include my hi-hat as well. So it allows me to group all my drums to 4 channels on the main layer. It's always right there. And then I have my bass and my Moog channel. I have my 2 electric guitars, acoustic guitar, keys 1, keys 2, and then organ. And then this is 3 channels total. And then kind of moving on from the home layer, my next bank is B, my drum layer. So you're going to see all my drum input channels. So my kick all the way through my overhead channels. And then at the end I have my drum bus. I have a drums too because we have quite a few inputs. I have triggers on this layer, and these triggers are just for my gates. And then I have my drum effects here. So pretty simple. And then moving on, I have my percussion and bass inputs. So I have 3 congos, bongos, and a perk bus. A perk overhead. And then I have my DCA for that and my bus for my percussion. On this layer, it's kind of redundant, but I have my bass, my Moog, and then I have my bass DCA and then my bass bus. That way, like, let's say I'm working on an issue or working through some processing, all the inputs or anything related to my bass is right there. And so you'll see that similar workflow for the other instruments. Going to guitar and keys, got my electrics, got my 2 acoustics, got my 2 keys, and then I have my organ channels. So it's all right there. Obviously I have most of that access on the home layer, but there's a couple things that are different. And then I have all my tracks here on my last bank. So I have synth, guitar, acoustic guitar, percussion, vox, bass, click, guide, time code, and then the track bus. I actually am missing my track DCA, so I need to include that. But these are all stereo channels, so there's about 14 channels or 15 channels of tracks. We're doing it over Dante, so it's all digital, and it goes right to the desk. So that's the first bank, and I will move to my center bank. All right. So moving to my center bank, I have my home layer, which for this event, I wanted all my vocals to be on top, like all my BGVs to be on top. A lot of times I'll do like just my leads and MCs and more important things. But in this case, I needed to be tracking gain for all these vocals. So I wanted to be able to see the input. So I have my 3 leads, and then I have 9 BGVs. So it's a full layer. And then underneath that, on my B bank, I have all my audience response mics, or AR mics. I have 10 AR mics, a DCA for that, and then a bus for that. Moving on, I have choir, 6 choir channels, and then a choir DCA. And then I have all my utility channels on my D bank for the center layer. So I got front of house talkback, my vocal talkback for the vocal in-ears, my band talkback for the band in-ears, my front of house talkback for front of house, drum talkback, bass talkback, guitar talkback, keys talkback, organ talkback, track talkback, and then our producer, our comms, in to our talkback. And let's move on to my last 2 layers. All right, let's go for it. Okay, so my last full bank here of 12 faders. So I have my effects long, effects short, my BGV effects, or background vocals, tap, for my tap delay. I have my track DCA, so I have it on my top layer. I have my AR DCA, so for audience mics, I'm constantly pushing that. I have my lead BGV DCAs, Pro Presenter machine. I have my bend DCA, and then an all DCA, so that can affect all levels and function as a mute group. I have my MC1 and MC2 mics. For this event, we just had 2 MC mics. In some cases, we might be dealing with headsets or lav mics and stuff like that, and I would probably end up changing the layout just a tad on my home layers if that was the case. So that's my home layer. This is kind of like my busing layer. Under that home page, I have all my in-ear mixes here, but I have 3 lead mixes and then 9 BGV mixes. And then I have 3 wedge mixes, front wedge, choir wedge, and an MC wedge. And then my next layer is my Avioms. Includes like any busing that goes to the personal mixers on stage. So I have a drums group, percussion group, track group, bass group, keys 2, keys 3 group, organ group, Vox group, AR group, MC group, and then a talkback group. And then on my last 2 banks of this layer, or of this side, I have my effects sends. So I have 10 effects, and then I have 10 effects returns. I'm using different things. So you can see I have a haul, a slap, a tap, a plate, a doubler, a big haul on my BGVs, acoustic reverb, drum haul, drum plate. I'm actually not using a gated snare. I'm using something else. I just need to update the names on these effects. User buttons here. This allows me to queue up mixes really quickly. I have all my buttons here, and I have 12 buttons, but I have 4 banks of user buttons. I'm using about 3 banks right now, so it gets to be a lot. But I hope that kind of helps as far as like understanding my workflow, knowing where these inputs and outputs are on the console. I'm changing that up quite often based on the show, like I said, but I'm also changing it up based on like what's faster for me to get to something and so forth. So, all right, thank you guys.